That's it. Well done, Tom.
Yeah,
Good one.
Okay. To think to pick the short strap, I've got a station design and set up, which was quite interesting. That we had a couple of meetings. We're going up as far as that. I think that's not sure how the transport would be organised. The first kind of guidance I got was, well, what a minimalist, thank you, station. Excellent. And so, fine, if you want a minimalist station, not much kit that we easily carry, that seems ideal, what I've been used to doing at the farm. So, Mike, I was thinking 2 QRP rigs. 2 QRP. So, suggesting 2 QRP, and no, not QRP. We don't want QRP. We're not driving all this way to QRP. And so I said, right, we'll just have the FT1000, 100 watts, with the verticals by the sea, absolutely beautiful. Shouldn't have any problems. And reduce the amount of kit we've got to take. You had to think about that, and well, we've got these linears. We might as well use the linears and get so much further, even though I've got the arrows right by the sea. So we're back now to a design with 2 FT1000s, 2 linears. And so well, how about aerials? Well, we'll try to run the minimum number of aerials, and we'll swap the coaxial when we want to change bands. Well, that's easy, that makes it simple. The next meeting comes along. Well, we don't fancy going out in the middle of the night, going all the way down the ship, and actually 50 miles long, an obstacle course, just so we can change bands, perhaps the coaxial across. Can we make it automatic? So we've got linears, we've got the FT1000s, we've got the antenna switching. We've actually got to the stage we're now in the caravan. I said, well, that's everything then. We'll take everything we've got in the caravan up there. I know we take the caravan. They said, well, we don't want to strip everything out of the caravan. So the result of that is we had to make another lot of cables for the caravan. So this minimalist station now is running full back now. Auto switching of everything, dummy loads switched in so you can tune the linears and you don't have the band all the time. So it's the full monster. Link that with the computers, four computers, and we've got quite a setup. So it's everything in the caravan plus now. Yeah. And this is minimalist.
Don't forget the spares.
Yeah, I've forgotten the spares. We want to work all the time, so we're going to have all these spares. I'm curious, worried about whether the trailer's bigger. So that was the start of it. So, thank you. So, scope of the stations, some of the assumptions, been through some of the assumptions, equipment and cables, how we connect it up, what it looked like, ad hoc items, and some form of conclusion. How we get there. Okay. So this is really what I put together and presented at the meetings, and each time I presented this sort of thing, I got the no, I had to go and review it again. And the list got longer each time we did it. So identify all the equipment components needed for IOTA. Fine. 2 stations, operate simultaneously 400 watts, both able to use SSB and CW. You couldn't have one of each, could you? They both had to be able to do everything. We needed bandpass filter protection. So you've got 2 transmitters going at 400 watts, kind of 200 feet apart, and you've got to protect the receiver at their end. So a bandpass filter, an automatic bandpass filter that's switched in for each band to give us that protection. So we need 2 of those. Can't have laptops, so we can drive them on CW and on sideband. F1 always set CQ, whether it's in CW or whether it's in audio. So we have to have those linked up. We had to have the bandpass filters automatically switched, so when you change the band on the rig, or when you change it on the computer, that everything's switched over. So that had to be automated. We used laptops rather than screens. That was saving. That was minimalist. Automatic antenna switching by 2 switch boxes. So we had to have boxes down the far ends. near the aerials, and then a control lead going back. 2 different loads, paddles and keys, DBS connections, foot switches, power meters, headphones, listeners' headphones, separate speaker. So if any visitors came, we could put the audio on the speakers so they could hear what's going on. And then we had spares. We had spare FT1000, an amplifier, headphones, spare laptop. We had all the information we had on the kit on a database. So we actually saved the paper we were sending up just in case we needed to do any serious fixing. But really it was just substitute with the replacement bits was the general idea. But we had the copy of the rules of the contest, but that was fortunate. And we had the prefix listing, etc. on the computer. And somebody, I don't know who it was, we were worried about getting feet cold in the night. So I had to put the carpet.
It was me.
It was you.
It was me.
So we had to have a carpet or plywood on the floor so we keep our feet nice and warm. And I got plinths for the FT1000 and the amps. So quite a bit of kit we had to take off the page. So we assumed the rigs are going to be FT1000s, Thompson 9. I assume we're going to have adequate main supply, and that I'd have 13 amp outlets I could just plug into. I started from there. I assumed that we didn't know at the time where they were going to come from. We'd have tables and chairs, so that just put the kit on them. We don't need to worry about that. I decided how long the table lengths have to be, what size, etc., what sort of weight they're to take. I assumed we'd have adequate lighting. Didn't know. It wasn't there, we had to make it when we got there. I assumed the accommodation was weather and proof and warm. It certainly was warm, and we didn't have any weather to prove that it was proof. I suspect if we'd had some weather, we might have known about it.
Yes.
I assume we had 4 networked laptops, which we were provided with. One month, then we had a DXpedition 1. We had Skimmer on another. We also had the RBN, the US speaking network, coming up somewhere to give us more information. So we have quite a bit of information streaming in, and we use keyboards and mice to drive the laptops. Pull this up together, I use the ubiquitous spreadsheet. So I've got all the kit and all the hardware listed here, and then I've listed all the cables we needed. And these are all the cables we had to make up in addition to the others. So I'm not going to go through all the detail, it just contains all the bits and pieces. Next one page, here's another page of it, gold page, and another page of it, or the spares at the end, identifying where they were. And the main issue is, as Kieran said, when we got there, there's no batteries up there. You know, there's no way we can actually buy some kit. We just have to take it all with us. If we haven't got it, we haven't got it, then we're stuck. But in the event, we had all the stuff we needed and stuff to spare in the end. And I don't think we used any of the spare kit we took up. It all worked without it. Next one, Pete. Just to give you an idea of the setup, we had 2 FT1000s. One we defined as being the run station, the other mult. Although in this contest, we had to run mult, didn't we? So run station can work anybody, mult station can only work new multipliers. So to begin with, everything was a new multiplier, but at the end of the contest, they're really hunting around to actually find stations that qualified as being new multipliers. So we've got the FT1000, we had the bandpass filters, and then we had the linears. The bandpass filter fitted between the rig and the linear. Then we had the SWR meter. We had the 7 on the other side, all the stations are set up in a similar manner, laptop with each one of them. Then we had a control box, and that was to take the band information out of each of the FT1000, and it would decide which band you'd switch to. In a control lead that then switch the bandpass filter, another control lead going out to the antenna switch to switch it to the appropriate antenna to match the frequency that the FT is connected to. And of course the laptop is keeping track of that as well. So if you change it on the laptop, the whole lot changed, the FT changed, bandpass filter changed, and the antenna switch changed. So that was the setup, that was the cabling, the control leads, You could set 12 volt and 24 volt to feed out to the antenna switch relays up there. Next one, Pete. Just a few more things to wire in. We had to connect the laptop into the computer for the CAPS, that gives the frequency information. And then we have the audio out for the DVS, that's the voice keying. And then we had the information that went to the CW key as well. Plus you have to have a key on it so you can send it by hand. If you can't understand what F1, F2, F3 meant, then you have to send it by hand. Real English. So that was the setup, same thing on both sides. Next one, that's all the other cabling that went. Each one of those is an individual cable connecting the various bits and pieces. So it took about 4 hours to kind of lace that together, and I just about got 4 hours, and everybody's out doing the antennas.
Yeah. That's the trick, isn't it? Send everybody out in the field.
To be in the shop, putting this together, and somebody's talking to you. I'll come to that in a minute. When somebody's talking to you, you have to cat in else chance. Okay. So it was a case of put 1.1 in first and 1.2, and I could manage that. So that'll do for next time with that one. Next time you want to go minimalist. So that's the station. We've got the run station here. You can just see the FT1000. You can see the linear. You can see right there. There's a filter somewhere around here, somewhere in there. Trying to make it a little FT1000 there. Keyboard, linear amplifier, power meter. And somewhere there's a switch so you can switch the dummy loads in. Well, there's the filters there. The filter there, and the filter there. Peter?
Carpet on the floor.
Oh, carpet on the floor. We got it laid out, and unfortunately Dave took an iron so he could flatten the carpet. That's some of the knitting that went behind the rigs. These are the new PowerPoints that Peter provided. Are you going to cover that later?
Yeah.
Oops, I won't mention it. I won't mention your PowerPoint. Okay. So everything was fed there. That's a control box that we feed all the band information into, and the bandpass filters are connected to it, and the antennas are connected to it, and it does all the switching. It does it automatically. Plus we've got manual override in case something fails. We can switch the stuff manually, and we don't kind of lose the bands.
Is that the magnetic caravan?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I could.
Yeah. We took some of the stuff out of the caravan.
Stripped it, you mean?
No, we tried to leave the cables in it.
Oh, right.
It took a long while to put those cables in. So that's that. We had a big stream there, and the idea was we put messages on for the operators, etc. And all sorts of stuff went on there. Mainly looking at the multipliers, I think, at one stage to see where we needed them, etc. And deal with that. That's a bandpass filter on top of there, power supply, etc. So all kind of shoehorned in, Pete. FT1000, but what can we say? There's somebody typing something in, go on, Pete. And did it work? And did it work? And did it work? Well,
The answer is
initially there were one or two teething problems. And I got the multimeter out, and I started to try and work out, well, there's nothing coming in, and while the SWR is wildly wrong, full scale deflection on the SWR didn't work. I'm trying to do this, and gradually the shack's filling up with people. And then there's one of the locals, I won't mention his name, he starts telling the story.
Sounds familiar.
I can't remember much about the faulting, but I can tell you a bit about the story. He mentioned the Vikings earlier on, and what he was talking about was in years gone by, when the Vikings came over to rape and plunder. But when the Vikings approached the shore, the old warriors had to leap out in bare feet and actually haul the ships onto the shore. I guess it was just on drifting away. And that was fine. And the guards looked upon them with great esteem and bestowed on them all good fortune and good luck. If for some reason the warrior didn't jump over the side and didn't get his feet wet, and woe be God, they were in trouble. And never mind the rape and plunder, then, how do I put it? For the period they're on their island, their kit didn't work. If you come to modern times, there aren't many Viking boats coming in nowadays. And there's not much rape and plunder going on, except at the dance on a Saturday night.
Yeah, that's true.
It was pillage.
Was it pillage?
Pillage.
Right. Well, you've been up there, you'd know. So where were we?
Do you get feet wet, by the way?
So,
Wait for it.
so there aren't many Viking ships coming in, and there's not much rape and pillage going on. Well, we're not up to this script. Who wrote this? I think there wasn't much going on, but nowadays, and I think following the original rape and pillage, there are a lot of descendants from the Vikings. I don't know whether you know it, but Tom is an actual descendant of the Vikings. Many Orkneys are
Always the one.
and to kind of carry on the tradition, then every year they've got to kind of replicate what was done many years ago and do the sorts of things that the gods appreciate. So every year they've got to go in a group down to the seashore and they've got to wash their feet. And Tom realised if you don't do it, your kit won't work for the year. So Tom helped us out, straight down to the shore, feet straight in, SWR perfect.
Excellent. That's it?
Are there any more?
No, next one. Oh, no, sorry, you want it before and after, didn't you?
Well, that's the shack before with all the bits and pieces in. That's a shack with the lads in.
Yep.
And they've started. Tom's ahead there, you can see him. Head and neck in front.
Yes, absolutely.
What did he say?
CQ was what he said. Many times. Go on.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.